Hi, folks. This is Dr. Don. I've had a few people ask to see what a good assignment would look like, and I want to show you first a report that one of your classmates did. I've changed the name a bit, and this report isn't perfect, but it's an example of a good report, and I thought it'd be worth showing you. They started out with a standard academic first page, which you should be very familiar with that. Going into the actual first page of the report, and this person did it as I suggested in the form of a memorandum, and they give an introduction and a background about what is going to be in the report, and starts with the analysis. This was assignment M2A2 of the box top scores, and has a table that shows the mean scores for each of the regions for the four factors and the overall mean scores for the whole company. And it gives the background in this paragraph talking about that. The next part is a nice column graph that shows those mean scores for each region this time, grouped that way, and you can see how the mean scores for each of the factors compares, and it jumps out at you that there's some lower scores here in the Middle East. So this figure is useful. And then they talk a little more about these, and it is getting into the second part, which is the box top scores, and we want to know the percentages of fours and fives. And he takes his Excel table, does a good job of color coding it, so you can see over here in the left, the green is the United States, and then we've got each of the four factors and what are the percentages of fours and fives, and it shows over here in the far right column that on speed, the United States has 96% fours and fives, and it takes it all the way down through all of the regions so that you can get a good view of that. And then he talks about the next phase, which is actually doing the hypothesis test to see if those apparent differences are statistically real, statistically significant. And he gives an example here of one comparison of two regions, USA and Americas, and I think this is on speed, and we have using the Ph.D. He took his numbers and put in the items of interest, which is 96 for USA, sample size 100, items of interest for Americas 45 out of 50, and runs the test and shows that the p-value is 0.145, which is greater than 0.05, therefore you don't reject the null. And down at the bottom, he shows the confidence intervals that I asked him to get, and it shows that in this case, on the difference in proportions, the confidence interval includes 0, that's a minus 0.0316 to positive 0.15, so 0 is inside that confidence interval, which means statistically there is no difference in that particular factor. And then he says, well, I did that for all of the pairings for each of the factors, and he produces a nice table here that shows on speed each of the pairings. Green, it said that you do not reject, which means there's no difference. Red, you do reject, which means there is a difference in the ratings for that factor on that pairing, so that there is a difference between USA and Europe on speed, and USA and Asia there's no difference, but USA and Middle East on speed, there is a difference because you reject the null. And the table includes all of the pairings on each of the factors, and it jumps out at you. Anything that's red, there is a significant difference. For example, on price, again, USA and Middle East, but also Americas and Middle East, Europe and Middle East, and Asia and Middle East. All four of the regions are significantly different on price on with respect to the Middle East, and the same thing on service. Well, as a matter of fact, that's USA and Europe are different on service. USA and Middle East are different on service. Americas and Middle East are different. Europe, Middle East, and Asia, Middle East. So Middle East really has some problems there. And then he ends up summarizing what he found and, of course, puts in the references. So this is an example of a good report. It's not perfect, but it should give you an idea of what you could turn in on case studies or written reports in the future.